Okay, I think you can hear me now. So we're going to start, like I said, by cutting the gutter. Now certain jobs have a point of no return. So basically, as soon as I cut that gutter, I will be putting a roof on this house, on this porch. Because when I cut the gutter, I'm going to have water running onto the porch. It's going to be cut, it's unusable, so now I have to finish. So that's my point of no return. So if I had any second thoughts about doing it, if I could do it alone, if I could get it done, all those are gone, because now, once I actually cut the gutter, that's it, we're done. Now I put the gutter on. Now I put the roof on. So, the tools we need. First thing is a pen, so we can mark things. Second thing is, I need the ends. When I had the gutter put up, I asked them for 2 ends, one for the left, one for the right. That way, when I do this, I can have the real ends and actually put it up. If I didn't have these, I would be taking a piece of wood, making it and putting screws around it and still get it done. But now I can do it with the real ends. So when it gets done, it looks like it's supposed to be that way. Everything I do, I want to make it so it always looks like it's been, not that it looks new. I need tape. When I find the space, I'm going to put tape down so the saw doesn't destroy what I'm keeping. It only cuts the hole, and then I can take the tape off. So I should cut somewhat in the middle of where the tape is. I need a level, because when I find the space, I need to make sure the line is level that I'm going to cut. So with appearance as well as my cover will fit nicely. And the next thing, I need a saw. I should have a smaller one of these, but I took it to the other house, so now I'm stuck using the big one, which is heavy, so it's going to be harder to put together and keep straight, but that's what we got. Now the final part of this puzzle, to get this line, which goes down here, as you see right there, about 1 inch in to there. This is what I call plumb bob. My dad called it a plumb bob. I don't know what the real name of it is. It might be the real name, but I think he called it that because it was cool and I liked saying it when I was younger. So this is going to be hung, or I'm going to hold it at the top where the gutter is. And I'm going to slowly let it down, making sure the line is straight, and touch exactly where I need to be and let it sit there for a while. And after it sits there for a while, since it's very heavy, it will straighten out. That will tell me exactly where the top part matches the bottom part. And I'll know exactly where to cut the gutter and get it done. So there's the start. This is what we need to do. So let's go do it. 2 things also. One of the big things, the ladder. You need a ladder. But to be honest, I'd probably climb up on the board if we need to be, but making these videos, I have to use safe things and not, guerrilla things. So, we need a ladder to safely get up so we can figure out where this roof goes. Now, before we get started, one thing we should check. Because not everything is perfect, but if it isn't, we want to make sure it's perfect coming, because one perfect thing doesn't match when everything else is imperfect, and one unperfect doesn't make a difference. So I'm going to take my level. So I'm going to take my T-square, or my right angle, against the house, because I want to verify that the board coming off the house, which goes to my deck at the end, is actually actually square to the house. The fact is, holding this up, it is square to the house. It's exactly square. So then I'm going to verify that that board that I know is square to my deck. It's a hair off. That could be because of warpage of the wood sitting here. But overall, it's good enough. So now I've checked the one thing that pre-exists, so now I can move forward. Gonna get my magic marker, get that ready. Take this should be string. Unluckily, I don't have any string. I couldn't find it. I think it's one of the things that moved to the other house. So I'm gonna wipe off and dry where I'm gonna be cutting. And I hold it at the very top, not where I am. I don't hold it here because it stops it. It actually changes the outcome. I'm gonna hold it up here, lift it up and let it just fall. Let the weight do the work. And I'm gonna slowly lower it down so I'm touching my piece of wood. Let it touch it and it will stop moving. Then I'm gonna raise it up just a little bit. Now I found a screw up top, so I have a level now. So now I can come down. I know that that is exactly should have done this before, figured out the distance, but I didn't. That is exactly 1 3/4 over. So I'm looking to go 1 3/4 over here. I don't want to touch it because then it changes the outcome. Right now I'm above 2. So I'm going to take this, which does lock. It still locks. The other one I have does not. This one still locks. I'm going to put it here. Now I know my zero line of where I'm actually going to be at. So now I can put that right there. I can go up top and above my line very slowly move this over so it's where I want to be, which is 1 3/4, which should be right there. So this is always going to be a straight line from here to here because of the weight at the end. Gravity is going to do my bidding, and it's going to give me a straight line from here to there. So I know at the very end where it touches, I know it's straight. So I'm going to mark that spot and give it a little mark. Now I know where I'm going to cut my gutters. So now I'm going to take my level and level everything up. Using that mark, I'm going to make a straight line there. Using the same level, I'm going to transfer that right to there. And that's going to give me a straight line all the way down. Now, when you put tape on it, obviously you can't see the line underneath. That is why you put tape on the left side of that line, following the line all the way down, and you put tape on the right side of that line. That way you know where the line is, because, well, it's where the two pieces of tape come together. Because then you know you have a straight line. So if you're actually watching these videos, and since this is the second video I've ever made, if you have any comments, I would appreciate it. Because as of now, the audio should be fine. I got my good audio camera out, video camera out. Good video camera being the one. Yeah, this is a great story. My son came to me and said, Dad, he was in the band, marching band at school, at high school. He's a sophomore. He comes to me and says, Dad, they're looking for somebody to take a video record. I know you like that, so I volunteered you. Isn't it great how kids do that? They just automatically volunteer you because it's something you like. So of course, you want to take your time and do it over and over and over again for absolutely no money and very little thank you to get it done. But it's our kids. That's kind of what we do as parents. So, of course, I took my iPhone and I went to the game and I videotaped it. And then I put it online. And everybody said, okay, great, thanks. Except me not liking things that aren't perfect or real good. Thought it really sucked. Look at that, I lucked out. Right there's a beam support, and right there's where I'm cutting. So I don't even have to add a support. So, long story short, and a few $1,000s later, I have a whole video set up with microphones and stereo and audio recordings so I can actually really record the band well. Those videos are on my other channel. I'll put a link at the bottom of one of those videos. But it turned out really well, and then I became the guy that recorded everything. And of course, they came to me and said, well, you know, during practice, we really want to know what we're doing. Is there any way you can get any higher? What if I give you access to the roof? Can you come down off the roof and actually record from there? And I'm thinking to myself, in Florida wind, I really don't want to be on top of a roof. It's like 6 stories tall. So I basically, now I have a drone. So now I have a drone. Those recorders are also on that channel. I have a drone and I have a video recorder. That camera I'm using, I can see myself through the big screen that hooks in the bottom, so I know you can see me, and that's it. Now I gotta do the same thing to the other side. The only thing I'm missing is a remote to turn the camera on and off. Okay, so here's the other side. Guess what? There is no beam. I can't use my little plumb bob to set the space of where I want to be because there is no beam. So I have to line this up with the board at this level. That gives me that. Now, if you haven't guessed, I might be allowed because mentally the cameras are far away, but I know the microphone is right here, but it's going to take time to get used to it. If you haven't guessed, a board is not the exact measurement that you buy. I buy 8 foot. These are actually 16 foot. What measurement is it? 193 inches. That would be 16 foot and 1 inch. So let's verify that with the other board that's going to go at the other end. Do I have to cut one to make them both the same? Or is 16 foot and 1 inch going to be perfect? This is also 16 foot and 1 inch, or 193. Not really 16. An extra inch was added on. So I know it's 16 and an inch. So I'm one person. How am I going to measure 16 and an inch when I'm 16 and an inch away? Well, we're going to take our tape, that blue tape you saw, and we're going to take the end of our tape measure and we are going to tape it exactly at our spot we're going to cut. We're not going to tape it right on the spot because it's already taped there, but I am going to tape it right next to it so it stays. A couple different places. So now, I don't need somebody to hold my tape measure because my tape measure is holding itself. And luckily at that end of the roof, I can still touch it. So now I just drag Mr. Tape Measure all the way down. I pull it tight. I know I'm going 192, 193. Now I pull it real tight so it stays perfectly straight. And I have my second mark. So the top of this pivots. So I'm going to pivot all the way up, actually touch my spot, and slowly now I got a mark. I'm slowly going to go through this. Now, if you notice at the edge of your camera, of the screen, you can see where I taped up the internet cord. If this was power, I wouldn't be doing this. Because power A shouldn't be there, and B, you can't do that. But since it's not, it's internet, it's fine. Now, the one thing about a saw blade is why it's cutting. It's going to want to move everything you're cutting at the same time that you're cutting it, which makes sure it doesn't cut and destroys and bends everything. So you got to make sure this tip in a situation like this is always touching something so it has a stop. It might move out some, but it's not going to constantly move and destroy things. I cannot just go here and do one of these. See what happens? Everything bends. And that just bent off just by that little sample. So I cannot cut from up here. I have to cut from down here. So I'm actually getting off the ladder, so both feet are on the ground. I'm going to take this blade and put it against the bottom of this. Sometimes it's better to start moving before you get there. And there you go. You have a line in the front. So again, I'm pushing up against it, and it's going to go very fast. So you got to look to make sure it's going straight. Now there's the problem. I need to get in there, but I don't. So now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take the blade out. Take the blade out and turn it around the opposite direction and put it back in. Now I hold the saw in a little oddball way, but now I get a very small spot in the front. The other issue is, if you look at this, the blade doesn't go up all the way. So I got to find the high point of the blade where it goes. Now what I need to do is get a spacer. Okay, so I relocated the camera so it's on the other side of me so it's not in the way. Because the fun part is watching me cut and mess something up. You never know. It's like watching a car race. People usually don't watch the racetrack for the cars to go in circles. I've been told that they watch to see if something goes wrong and they want to be able to see it. So you're watching this, me cut a little piece of aluminum to see if something goes majorly wrong. Again, we got to push the saw on and then we cut. We don't ever cut before we get there because then we'll start jiggling everything around. Push it on and then we cut. As we cut, we're going to check our line, making sure it's straight. When we get down far enough, we're going to shift. So now we'll use the bottom of this as a support, which in turn will give me a straight line with the blade. Goo. It is a gutter. There's goo. Now I got to use my spacer again because I'm in the same situation. Well, I can't get in the back without something to space it. Just by chance, my space happens to be a piece of 2x4, so it worked out. But if it was different, I would have to cut it this way to the right length so I could get my same spacer. I'm looking up and making sure my blade is below my drip line that's on my roof. Because I want to cut the gutter, I don't want to cut the drip line. So that's why I'm looking through the hole to make sure that my blade is behind the gutter, the drip line, just on the gutter. Now this one seems to be a little bit of a mess. It's not quite the same size as a piece of 2x4. So I'm going to try going this way. And my little piece I cut. Otherwise I have to go cut another spacer that matches. I think I got lucked out. Going the other way gave me my space. So now I go down the gutter and we'll remove this piece of gutter. No sense zooming in on that, so I move the camera back and zoom out. Okay, so right now we're probably gonna fast forward because you don't really need to see me remove every little piece. So I'll be back after the fast forward music ends. Fast forward because it was not a Phillips, it was a straight. So I have my little 1/4-inch nut driver, I have my Makita extension, and I have a straight piece just in case, but I think it might be a nut driver. Okay, fast forward again. Okay, so I'm on the last one, all of them out except for one on each end. The last one over on this end actually wasn't done. So this is like 3 or 4 feet off. Now I have to check and see. I cannot reach it without the ladder. So that gives it a little bit of an issue, because when I take this last screw off, the whole thing's going to say, hey, I don't need to be up here anymore. Even though it seems to be staying quite well. So we'll just run with it. Believe it or not, I just put these gutters up probably 4 months ago. Well, you know, not an issue. There is a short showing you my drainage system, which takes all the water from the gutter and gets it away from the house, because this is an older brick house with shallow footers. If you have a ton of water that goes right next to the footer, this is North Florida, which means your sand isn't sand, it's sand and clay mix, which makes quicksand mud. So your house wants to lower itself. So here's the tricky part, doing the last screw. I know it's probably going to fall. I don't know if I'm going to put this on the end of the current roof I'm doing or not, but I'm just going to let it fall and I'm going to hold it. There we go. Gutter is off, saving all the screws. Okay, so now we're ready to put the beam up. What we're using to put the beam up are these. These hold, they have a nice big end, so you don't have to use washers. They have a nice big end, so they still don't go into the wood, they don't sink in, they don't rust. They're great for this purpose. There's only one downfall. See how long they are? You got to make sure you go in straight. You have to make sure you go in to the middle of the beam, because if you don't do either one of those, the bolt's going to go off the edge. It's not going to go straight in, it's going to go off the edge, and it could crack the end of your beam that holds the house up. So I have my marks all the way down. Have my very heavy beam that we already put on the roof once. I have my level to make sure that is level. I don't want my water coming off my roof crooked. So even if the house is crooked some, this has to be level. So the level I have is my old Black & Decker. This is a great level if you're hanging anything, because it has these little notches and they move. So with the notches moving, you actually put this on the back of your pitcher you're hanging, and you already know the holes. You don't have to do any measuring. You set both numbers, because it's numbered on both sides with the numbers. You set this one to 26 and this one to 26. You know that's the middle. You know that's your holes. You hold it up. Has little springs at the end, so it holds it against the wall. Even if the wall's a little bit crooked, it still holds it tight, and you can make your marks. And you have your level in the middle. Highly recommend this. I don't even know if they make it anymore. This was given to me by somebody because he wasn't using it for its purpose, and I've used it to hang almost everything. Anyway, it's a level. So here's the deal. We got a big board. We know we're not going to be able to lift it up to put it up ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to have to ask a smaller screw to help me. So what we're going to do is we're going to get my hammer, my little hammer, make sure we're going straight. We're going to put a ladder at this end. Move the couch out of the way. Doesn't really matter if it's crooked or not. All it's going to do is hold up the beam somewhat. We're going to put a ladder so the beam can be somewhat close. A little bit more. Come on. There we go. So our beam's somewhat close to the level we need. So we're going to lift up the beam on this side. We're going to put it on the ladder on that side. We're then going to come over here, put it in the area that it belongs. Don't care if I've even hit a beam or a stud. I'm just putting it up to hold it in place. Then we'll put this side closer and we'll work our way up little by little until we get it right where it belongs. Again, if we had 2 people or 3 people holding it, one person would hold this side, one person would bolt this side, come back bolt this side, fill the middle in, world's happy. Who's that person? That'd be me. So that person is now my ladder. But the ladder's not going to be perfect, so we have to do little by little, piece our way up, bit by bit. Yes, this is a 16-foot pressure-treated 2x8. That is well bigger than I would need for this project. However, everything I build, I put bigger than I need for the project. You know what happens? What happens is Hurricane Andrew comes over and I have half a deck built with a roof that's half done and it doesn't blow down. People's houses blow down. My deck doesn't blow down. So I'm going to continue doing my overly ambitious, using too big of everything scenario. So I don't have to worry about it. Once it's up, it will stay. So we're going to put the one screw in. We're going to get as close to the edge as we can, because this is going to end up being a pivot point. And since it's a pivot point, it has to be as close as we can get to where it's going to be, so we can continue the pivot without taking it down again. Put the other side up, maybe right where it belongs. We don't know yet. So we'll put this up right against our gutter. We'll drive our screw in just so it stays up. Yes, I'm using the 4.5 inch, the 2.78 inches. I am not using the 4 because this is not what's going to hold it. This is strictly to get it there. Once we get it up, I probably will leave these in, and in turn, I will then take my black marks I put and drive the full size ones in. Okay, running into an issue. This does not want to go far enough over. How close did I get over here? I am, quarter inch off. Okay, now I'm closer on this end. Let's see if I can get this end up now. Yes, it's lower, but I might be able to get this end up where it belongs. Because remember, this is a very tight fit from where we did this. And this is the one that wouldn't go in all the way. There we go. Now we're going to do another pivot point as close to the edge as we can. Hold that one up. Take this one out. And work our way up. closer. Now we'll work this one up some. And we're getting closer where we need to be. Yes, this is a little annoying. It's annoying because you can't just put a board up. But fact is, the reason why you can't just put a board up is the simple reason you're doing it yourself. So some things you just have to accept. That's the way they work. Okay. Sorry to take a break there for a minute. Now the edge where I have the screw going in and out is starting to crack a little bit. I don't particularly care. Simple reason that this screw is not going to hold anything up. All I'm trying to do is work my way up right below that beam, like right there. So now we put this one in. Put it in a little bit stronger. So this side is right where it belongs. Now we just have to work this side up some.